Hey, how oil prices affect the audio industry. Let me tell you how that works. So obviously oil is a part of the industry in general. And in the audio industry, it's a part of production of many things, from the plastic parts, from metal. So it does affect the pricing of parts, basically, and also logistics. So, making audio products in the middle of Europe, you can source quite a lot locally, but there are things you have to source from abroad, from overseas. So the cost of materials is currently skyrocketing. Everything is going up. So essentially, or eventually, we will have to transfer that to the final price. So you can expect that the price of audio products will go up. In general, the prices of everything will go up because of that. But in the audio industry, for example, steel parts, anything made out of steel, or stainless steel, aluminum, that's all gonna be a lot more expensive. So that's one effect of the current crisis that we are going through. And the second, probably even more important, is the shock of the economy, meaning people are not buying things that they don't absolutely need right now. So headphones, that's what we do. It's a product that, unless you absolutely need it right now, you can wait. You can use whatever you've used before for a little bit longer, or maybe you buy something a little bit cheaper, you buy used, stuff like that. So inevitably, the headphones manufacturers will, all of us, I'm pretty sure, will see a dip in sales because of that. So when these things happen, and it happened before, I've been around in the music industry, in the audio industry long enough to go through the COVID and to go through the Ukrainian war, which was kind of similar to what's now, and now the Iranian war and the oil crisis. So what happens with these dips in sales? They're kind of sharp, so it's not like a decline that takes half a year or something like that. It happens quickly. It's about a month or two, and you see a massive decline in sales. And being proactive, like, I don't know, discounts or stuff like that, it's really not a fix, because it's an external problem. So as the owner of the company, I've learned the difference between internal problems that create a dip in sales or a spike, and external, so macroeconomy or even global economy. So when a global economy is the way it is right now, the sales are affected by a force that I have absolutely zero control over, which of course it feels terrible on multiple levels. It brings a little bit of anxiety. You might start questioning yourself and your decisions around business. Am I pricing this right? Do I have the strategy right? Stock levels, everything that goes into creating your product and delivering it to the market, you start to question, because you can't really know with a pinpoint accuracy, is it a global issue, or is that something that's happening in your niche, maybe even with your brand only. So that is a little bit stressful. You don't really know how to deal with that. But as I said, over the years, I've learned to identify at least a little bit when the issues or the forces are external. And when they are external, there's really nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is try everything you can to stay lean, to stay agile in terms of costs and of manufacturing, in terms of deliveries, in terms of coming up with new products and new ways of selling. So that would be basically the only advice to myself and to the audio community of manufacturers. Just stay agile, really think about the costs, cut any costs that you don't really need, set the break-even point where it actually is today, not the one that you've set last year, because things change. So you need to stay on top of your finances, and just don't lose money. Whatever you do, don't lose money. Keep it there. Make sure that it's generating some sort of value for you, even if it's just parked for the just-in-case scenarios. Now it's not really the time to invest in experiments too much, unless you're really sure it's gonna work. But in the past, when there was, in my case of course, when there was a global issue, a global force disrupting the market, it was really irrelevant what I did. Even launching products at really low pricing didn't really help. The discounts didn't help either, because the mindset of the prospect of your buyers is completely different. They are worrying about the bills, the groceries, everything else. What does that mean for them in a month or two? So they're not really spending money in buying gear unless they absolutely have to. So seeing 30% down, seeing 40% down, even half less sales than what you're used to, that's normal, and you have to find a way to adjust your company to make sure that you can survive that. And if there's a way, if you see like a positive signal in some niche or with a specific product, double down on that one, massively. And also have a plan for the aftermath. So eventually that will fade. It could be 2 months, 3 months, it could be half a year, maybe a year. But during that time, you have to prepare for the next growth cycle. Mentally, financially, the processes and systems you have in place, and with sourcing. So the supply chain is the one that will take a lot of your money away. So you have to be careful. And that's all. It's not like brands are gonna die. Of course not. We went through these. Other brands went through so much more. So it's not gonna kill the companies that are doing great stuff. It might eliminate the ones that don't have resources, that don't have extra budgets, that have nothing saved, or where a team will panic. So if the management team will panic in terms of, we need to sell, absolutely, we have to sell in order to stay afloat, it's inevitably, you're going to give your margins away, your profits away. You will have less money in the bank because of that. So yeah, you can force a little bit of sales, but the bottom line will be hurt. And when the bottom line in a company is hurt, you can't really invest into the future. So the aftermath, when things get better, you're going to start with a lot more empty tank of gas. All right, that would be my morning rumble for this Monday. Cheers.